All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about real music in this episode and doing it in real time for a few real people out here, just like you and just like me. All right, something I've recommended before. I've been going through some of my stuff here, and if you haven't heard The Great Divide, you should check this out. This is pure Americana. It is country, it is rock, it is blues, it is folky, it is a lot of different things all mixed together. They didn't spend a lot on the CD, but the artwork is fantastic and really great stuff. Definitely one of those bands that is on the up and coming side of things from the red dirt country of Texas. So, again, The Great Divide and their album, which is called Providence. Not a bad song on it from start to finish. Just a really great band. Anyway, folks, speaking of really great bands, Firehouse is back. Holy crap, Batman. I wanted to talk about Firehouse a little bit because, first of all, no band in the history of the switch from your regularly scheduled music back in the early 90s, your switch, your unscheduled move over to a completely different channel, which was the grunge network, right? So I got my hair metal, I got my classic rock, I got my blues revival that is starting to happen in some places. And lo and behold, what did the record industry do? They said, sorry, we're pulling the plug. And so bands like Firehouse, Mr. Big, and Giant, those three bands especially, and there are others, obviously, but Firehouse was taking off 1990. Their airplane, their flight was leaving and it was soaring. Same with Mr. Big and same with Giant. But, hey, we needed room for Pearl Jam. And like I've said before, apparently these two styles could no longer coexist. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of music. You go from the 60s to 70s, stuff in 68 sounds like stuff in 72. You go from the 70s to the 80s, sure, there was a transition, but it was a more gradual transition from, say, 78 to about 82, 83. By 83, all of your boat rock music was pretty much over, although depends on how you gauge that, because really that kind of music never went away. It's just the production changed. And because of the synthesizer, things got a little more pop oriented and a little bit less R&B, but it was still there. It just, it transitioned a little bit more gradually in an orderly fashion. Whereas the transition from, whatever we were doing, and we were still doing it 91, 92, and then all of a sudden the lights go out. And you're like, all right, so they're going to make me listen to this stuff now. I'm just going to put up with it. And now all of these bands are heralded as classic rock bands. I never hear Firehouse or Giant. You'll hear the one song by Mr. Big, probably. Once in a great while. You could even throw Extreme in there a little bit. Now, Extreme had some legs throughout the 90s, but certainly they didn't get the same level of airplay they got in the beginning of the 90s. And again, they fell out of favor because, they were playing funky riffs and all kinds of stuff that was not at all affiliated with the new style of music that everybody had to like, or you were just not a cool person. Now, Firehouse has a brand new singer, and he's replacing a legend who passed away a couple of years ago. Now, there's a couple of stories on this. The singer's name is Nate Peck. They've got a new song out called Mighty Fine Lady. Now, I went searching for the song, and apparently it might not be available for free. You might actually have to purchase the song, which I think is kind of cool. Anyway, the song, it says here, marks the first single with new lead vocalist Nate Peck, who was on American Idol in 2023. Now, typically, I'm not a big fan of the American Idol replacement singers. However, I did go and listen. And by the way, I listened to cell phone audio. Everyone says you can't really judge via cell phone audio. Well, guess what? He sounded good. And so I'm thinking, good move, guys. I mean, this may be Firehouse's Arnel Pineda, Nate Peck. Now, Firehouse doesn't have the catalog that Journey has, but they have several really strong albums. And who knows what could have happened if the music industry didn't implode in the 90s. So anyway, they tell the story about CJ Snare, who died recently last year, back on April the 5th of 2024. He was only 64, and he had a lengthy battle with cancer. And it had gone away, and then it came back very aggressively. And they tell a story here. It's a pretty lengthy story. Bill Leverty, who is the guitarist for Firehouse, goes into detail about all of what took place with the late, great CJ Snare. But I got to say, this new guy is good. Now, with bands like Firehouse, people aren't that familiar with their roster. They don't know people by name. So these guys can go out on the road with this new guy who has the CJ sound. He really does. It's a certain vocal quality that CJ Snare had, and this new guy, Nate Peck, seems to have it. By the way, the band is promising more fresh music, it says here, so that's good if you're a Firehouse fan. And typically I get a little critical of bands that do this stuff. But look, getting back to my original point, no band deserves a comeback more than Firehouse. Like I said, Mr. Big tried it. I'm thinking, they went through too much, and certainly maybe waited a little too long to get everybody back together. And then, of course, they had tragedy as well in their band. Giant is still out there, but their lineup is completely different. And I'm not sure if they're going to do any touring here in the United States. But Firehouse, definitely road dogs, and they have a pretty rabid fan base. I believe they're from the Pittsburgh area, right? So again, I mean, just to have the Pittsburgh faithful along for the ride and for encouragement, I think that's a great thing. And certainly we wish Firehouse lots of success, and can't wait to hear this song and also the new material that is forthcoming. Now, before I go, a couple of things. One more time for this band here. Great artwork on this cover. The Great Divide and their album called Providence. And again, the CD, very stylish CD. I know people don't buy CDs. And this one, look at that, right? Low budget, but really great artwork. Also, if you want to support this channel, keep me going here, buy me a coffee is something I cherish. Also, PJ Rock Super Chats, Patreon, and what else? I think there's something else that I'm forgetting here. I typically forget one of them. Just subscribing to the channel. Let me see. Patreon, YouTube. Oh, YouTube memberships. Yeah, I think that's what I probably forgot. But all of those things can help keep this channel going as I try to rebuild. We're heading toward 5K, folks. A 5K. I've always wanted to do a 5K, so let's get to 5, and then we'll shoot for 10 and 20, and who knows? I don't know if I can get to 82 again. Only took me 8 years to do that, so that's with the algorithm on top of me. That was fun to do. But hey, whatever happens. It's fine at this stage. Life is short. You have to try to enjoy what you have and spend time with your family. I always wonder that people just are glued to social media all day. I get messages even when I'm asleep, and I'm like, it could be a different time zone, could be a bunch of night owls out there, but sleep is completely underrated as something that can really help you. Eating right, exercise, and sleep. Those are very important things. Anyway, I'm pretty happy for Firehouse. I hope they make a ton of money out on the road. Um, the record industry owes them bigly, and it's a shame what happened to them and so many other bands, but they're still here. God bless Firehouse. We'll see you soon.